Step right up.
Step right up and guess your weight, your height,
That's my next question is, can you do that? Are you trained in that?
Am I trained? You know what the training is?
Yeah.
It's good guessing. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Good News York. My name is Noah Chrysler. Today, I am sitting with Alan. Alan, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Go ahead and introduce yourself, who are you with? And
my name's Alan LaVenture. I'm with Main Event Amusements. We're a traveling carnival and entertainment company.
Yes, I am so excited about this. Wonderful. I love carnivals. Grew up going to the New York State Fair. Maybe that's not a carnival, that's a fair, but
It's the same thing, same premise, just on a larger scale.
love it. Beautiful. So you guys have an event coming up this weekend, yeah?
Yep, we're at the New York State Fairgrounds. We're in the gray lot. The fair's a massive expanse. We're in the gray lot. We have our own entrance. There's other events going on over the weekend, but ours is, free admission, free parking. Just got to enter gate 6, so otherwise you'll end up in that, that other situation, but it's great.
Cool. Free admission, free parking. Wonderful. What can people expect at this event this weekend?
Well, we're going to bring 18 rides out. We've got kiddie rides, we've got family rides, huge thrill rides. So, a little bit of everything for everything. For everyone. We've got 8 food trucks, anywhere from pizza to traditional things that you would think of, cotton candy, candied apples, all of that's there, walking tacos. So, we've got that covered. Again, if you're bringing the kids, we've got hot dogs, hamburgers, and we've got chicken tenders, and chicken tenders save the world.
I had chicken tenders last night, actually. We went to Tully's. They were really good. I got the Asian tenders.
There you go.
Very good. Cool. Okay, so you've got rides this weekend. What is the event called?
It's just it's a Syracuse Spring Carnival.
Syracuse Spring Carnival.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
and it's the first time we've returned to the fairgrounds in the last 5 years. What's interesting is that the last time we were here was right after COVID. And none of the ride companies know how to get out in New York State. And in my role, I handle a lot of logistics, all permitting and what have you, not state stuff. And what I did is I took all the protocols from the state and actually developed the program for New York State's health department, for traveling carnivals, to launch after COVID in a safe way, distancing, how we mark the ground, how we were sanitizing the rides, how we would break down for an hour. Submitted that all to the state. They let us open up at the state fairgrounds, and then we moved to Watertown for the next weekend. And they said, "Oh, we have a document that covers it." And basically, they had copied and pasted 90% of what I had written. So it's kind of it was a funny story.
I am a little confused. Help me understand this story. So you did a bunch of cleaning and sanitizing of your gear and equipment.
What they did is New York State didn't want to let all these outdoor carnivals launch.
Yeah.
So they were like, they had started to put protocols together for places like Darien Lake and then they'd put them together for, outside events, but they never combined those two for carnivals and things like that. So I kind of took pieces from everything and sort of combined it in a logical way that made sense so people would be safe. Mm-hmm. We submitted it to the New York State Health Department. Mm-hmm. They approved it, and then they took it and used it again.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Got it. And you saw it later.
I saw it because they were like, "Oh, we have a document that you can review for us in Watertown and send it to me." And I was like, "Hey, that's mine. I can even see the typos."
Awesome.
They added state stuff, but
Sure.
its basic framework was the same. Which what that told me is that we're doing it right.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful.
So that's good.
That's wonderful. So tell me more about that. So we were talking before, before we started rolling here, we were talking a lot about the carnival industry, the carnival ride industry. Tell me about that industry and what you think is the most interesting stuff.
It's been around for 100 years, 100 plus years. The carnival, it's part of Americana. Mm-hmm. People in towns would look forward to the carnivals coming to town, and we still see that. And in this day and age with technology and that, carnival popularity ebbs and flows. It was big in the 80s, kind of dropped off in the 90s, early 2000s, and it's begun to take a surge again. People, I think, they want to get out from behind their phones and maybe actually go out and do that. You're seeing that type of investment. The last 2 governors that we've had in New York State, have put substantial money into the New York State Fairgrounds. Governor Hochul and the new Goat Barn. She grew up in the Buffalo area right near the Erie County Fair, so she's very familiar. And really wanted to bring some of the New York State Fair stuff back to its roots. And so you're starting to see the fair started based on agriculture. You know, it was an opportunity for farmers to bring their wares to that. And then as it grew, you started to see more food. You started to see the games, and we all have that traditional, vision of carnies at the games. And then rides became there. And once you got to the 40s and 50s, I mean, you really started to see some cool, rides that stick today. It's amazing to me that, rides like the Scrambler, a Ferris wheel, a merry-go-round. If you go to a carnival, you're going to see them everywhere. And then there's my favorite, which is we're at the 100th anniversary of the Tilt-A-Whirl.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I'm a big Tilt-A-Whirl guy. I love the Tilt-A-Whirl. Tilt-A-Whirl's the best.
It was a cool ride. Like I said, 100 years ago in Minnesota, it was a farmer. Which is interesting because, those were the guys who were dealing with motors and things from their tractors and that. So they were looking for something to add to these fairs. And that's how you really started with their rides. In the beginning, they were very, very simple. They may have been a tractor-driven swing that just went around. And they eventually evolved into, the thrill rides we see today. But what's amazing is, every year you see something new. Oh, Disney's come out with this, or this one's come out with this. The traditional Americana, those rides, like I said, the Scrambler, the Tilt-A-Whirl, they just don't go away. And we're fortunate. We have a 1954 Tilt-A-Whirl, which sounds scary. Oh, it's 75 years old, but it's been completely refurbished. Colors match exactly the designs, the graphics, and everything. So our Tilt-A-Whirl, if you looked at it and could go back in a time machine 75 years, it would look exactly the same, which is really a cool piece for us.
No, that's incredible. That's really cool. I have nerdy questions about Tilt-A-Whirl operation. Is that okay?
That's fine.
From my understanding of a Tilt-A-Whirl, I'm assuming there's some sort of, there's an engine probably somewhere. You said it runs on diesel?
There's a motor in the middle.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay. Old rides all ran on diesel.
Got it, okay.
Now, when we show up, we build a full power plant. So we travel with our own power plant. We have several generators. So everything's, electric.
Wow.
It is. You don't want kids. Again, we didn't care in 1920, but,
Right.
Today I think parents would have a problem if their kids were spinning around on a ride and breathing in diesel fumes.
Sure, yeah, maybe not the best.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Got it. Okay, so you set up all these generators that feeds some sort of power conduit thing, feeds each ride. Cool. Motor in the middle, then there's like a track, right?
Yep.
There's like a with like wooden or steel panels.
Steel panels.
Gotcha, cool. And then there's and then the track has like up and down parts, and it kind of just spins around.
And the thing is, it works off as its own centrifugal force. So the track has an up and a down. And so when it spins, there's 2 points of spinning. There's the main frame, the flat bottom that the cars sit on, and that moves. So that's taking in the undulation, the up and the down. And then naturally, the actual cars that you sit in are set on their own pivot. So as you take those hills or those ups and down, those undulations, they spin on their own. So there's no motor on the cars itself. That's all done through gravity, which is pretty impressive.
Which is like genius, for a farmer to create that 100 years ago. I mean, that's amazing. That's super cool. Wonderful. Okay, we talked a little bit about how, live events are kind of coming back into the, popular culture and things, getting people out of their houses, getting them off their phones and that sort of thing. Why do you think that is?
Because they need new content for their phones. You know what? I think that we kind of landed in that, let's look at our phone saturation. And mental health professionals are talking, and schools are now talking about taking the phones away during the day and what have you not. So we're starting to see that is an issue. And I think parents are taking note of it, and they're like, okay, I'm not going to keep my kids from looking at their phone, but maybe I can limit it. Maybe I can give them experiences. And suddenly now it becomes storytelling. Social media is an effective tool for storytelling, as long as it doesn't become the dominant tool. So, if you're going to be on your phone, we can say, oh, we don't want our kids on their phone. They're going to be on their phone. But if we can give them experiences, give them something a little more to talk about, suddenly that interaction on the phone's a little less just watching other people do stuff and maybe actually doing stuff yourself.
Yeah. Go for an adventure. Go try something new. Go on a Tilt-A-Whirl.
Well, if you look at the type of content that people follow, it's always people who do adventures. Influencers are people who go to the beach. They go to the mountains. They go to a different restaurant. They go to this. And I think what you're seeing is that parents are encouraging, or younger people now are encouraging, to explore the world. And they're becoming, I don't know if they're becoming influencers, but they're becoming storytellers. And I think storytelling is at the root of who we are as people.
Absolutely. Cool. I think that that's a beautiful sentiment, and I'm excited that we're moving in that direction because I don't know, my house gets boring on the inside.
There you
Cool.
go.
Awesome. Okay, so we were talking a little bit too about the carnival ride industry. Tell me about how that works. I want to know more.
I mean, there's a lot of different companies. I mean, you know, they basically bracket into three different sizes. There's the smaller ones that you see at the church carnivals locally. Then there's mid-sized company, which is where we fit. You know, 20 to 30 rides. We do mid-size county fairs in New York State, the Niagara County Fair, the Orleans County Fair, Seneca County Fair. And all these are smaller versions of the New York State Fair. And then there's the top tier companies like Straits or Wade who does the New York State Fair. Straits does the Erie County Fair. And those are large companies that have, you know, 60, 70, 80 rides.
Cool. Okay, I got two questions. The first one, who is like, if I need carnival rides, do I give you guys a call and say, hey, I've got a really cool birthday party that's going to be really awesome this weekend?
See, that's the funny thing. We do get a lot of calls of people who are like, hey, can I get one ride? Or can I get a game? And really the logistics of moving a show is massive.
Sure.
I think people don't understand. I mean, rides, you know, a refurbished ride or a ride that you buy that needs a lot of work, you're going to put $100,000 to $150,000 in it.
Wow.
You want a brand new ride. You're looking anywhere from $200,000 to $300,000 up to, you know, something like a Gravitron or a claw, those big claws that flip over. Those are over $1 million.
Really?
Just for the ride.
The big claw that swings back and forth and spins around and
then goes upside down. And,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, you know, you're looking at a substantial investment.
Sure.
So it's not a blow up bouncy house that you can buy for $300 and make your money back in 2 years.
Got it.
Which is great. I mean, we'd love to do a bunch of backgrounds, but that's
not your business. That makes a lot of sense.
Not a way to make any money.
Gotcha. So basically, your customers are, you know, small governments or local towns and things, or
in a lot of retail properties now.
Gotcha.
You
Okay.
know, we break out in the spring, and you know, we go to the Finger Lakes Mall for a couple weeks, and then we do small places like the New York State Fair. We're going to pop to Norwich next week. We'll end up in Elmira doing the Arnett Mall for a couple weeks and tie into a big event that they got going on there. So
wonderful.
And then suddenly you hit to July and you're in fair season. And you know, we sit in Syracuse at the New York State Fair, so we have this vision of this massive million people fair. And the reality is, these little towns per capita do better. Per capita, even though they may only get 100,000 people, when you look at an area that's got 30, 40, 50,000 people, it becomes an event that they go to 7 days because you count the person every day that they come in. Yeah. So if you took Metro Syracuse and multiplied that over the 12 days of the fair, you're getting people going 2 or 3 times. People talk about going to the fair. Oh, I'm going to go a couple times. Well, these people in these rural communities are going to the fair every single day.
Right.
And it's a really important part of their year. And it's great. I mean, it's great for their communities. And like I said, because we have the big one here, I think we miss the fact that there's every county in New York State does a fair of some form.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I actually didn't know that. That's really cool. They all do different county fairs.
They all different county fairs. I mean, you know, you go to Weedsport, you know, Seneca County Fair is right there. I mean, it's a smaller, you know, property. The whole event is maybe the size of the New York State Fair Midway, but it has all the exact same elements. You know, they do a demolition derby. You know, you're right in the wine country, so you get a lot of different wine slushies.
They do a demolition. That sounds sick.
Yeah,
that sounds really
crazy, fun stuff. You know, and it's an opportunity for live music and just really for the community to come together. And that's really what the fairs, you know, started out as, and they're kind of really getting back to that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. Cool. Here's my next question. And this is you know, sometimes when I go to a fair or a carnival, you know, and I think to myself, okay, they slap these rides. I'm a risk taker. I like taking risks. I like having fun, right? But I'm thinking to myself, okay, they put these up in a weekend or a week, right? And I get nervous, right? But you were telling me that that's actually, you know, there's a lot, especially in New York State, right? That so tell me about that.
Well, safety is important. I mean, it obviously is. I mean, again, these are always high profile. So if something happens, you're going to hear about it. New York State is very, very particular. in the way that they do things. They'll come in and they'll certify, and you'll see, and it's right at the front of the gate of the rides. Nobody notices them, but they're there. Is a certification that the ride's been inspected. They'll come in March and April, and they'll check
The welds.
welding.
Gotcha.
They'll check welds, make sure there's no metal fatigue in that before we even go out. And then every single time we go out, they come out and they inspect. So New York State is very good in making sure. And it's amazing because we always have to, it takes a couple days to set up, but they're there with us all the way through. So they're not just checking, oh, does it look good or all this? They're checking the belts, they're checking the screws, they're counting the things, things that you wouldn't think are safety issues, but like every ride car has a number on it. The reason is if there is a problem, the ride operator can be like, okay, whoever's coming over, it's right, it's number 2. So, New York is extremely safety conscious, and to their benefit. I mean, we've been doing this for 25 years, and fingers crossed.
Yeah.
One, we hire very good people, have that kind of background, but, 2, that those state inspector help us to be able to run a show every single week, build every single week, and be safe every single week.
Wonderful. Well, that's great. That makes me feel better, honestly, knowing that like, hey, there's a system in here, in place here, and somebody's inspecting these rides at a regular cadence, and things are safe. That's a good thing to know.
And it's layers. I mean, obviously we have our own safety team. And we know what we're trying to do to make sure things are safe, but it's a nice checks and balances. So when you come out on a midway and it's a midway with, Main Event Amusements on it, you're on a safe midway. And to be honest with you, there's some great operators. Ontario's a good operator, locally. Wade, who comes to the fair, they're a great, amazing operator on a national level. But they still go through that process. New York State is going to inspect every single one of those rides, even though they might have certifications in Florida and in 50 other states. And, they may have an engineer on staff, and New York State's still going to inspect it. So, I mean, when you go on a ride in New York State, whether it's a Main Events ride, which, I'd love you to come out and use, but or anybody else who's actually operating in New York State, you've got some of the highest safety standards in the entire country.
Cool. Well, cool. If we take a step back and we think about the ebbs and flows of demand for different carnival rides, what's like hot? Like, are bumper cars hot in 2026? What's hot right now?
It's funny. You always you do a new ride or whatever, and like our newest ride is we have a Himalaya, which is kind of a classic ride, but it's in the scope of things. It's not a scrambler or a Tilt-A-Whirl that's 100 years old. It's a 70s ride that really started to pick up. We have a brand new, and people get very, very excited about that when we put the brand new Himalaya up last year. But what happened is people go back to those classics. So I mean, if you were to say to me, what are the hot rides? I mean, the merry-go-round's always going to be a hot ride. I don't know if you'd call a merry-go-round a hot ride, but
sure, yeah.
But it's a popular ride. Almost everybody who comes in goes to that.
Cool.
From a thrill standpoint, it's our Himalaya.
Himalaya is the one that just goes really quick.
Really quick round. The loudest music you're ever going to see on the Midway. That's the Himalaya. It kind of distorts all your senses, and that's kind of the
and
fun of it.
you want to sit on the inside, right? Because you're going to slam the
Yeah,
buddy
you don't
on
want to
the
get
side.
crushed.
Right, yeah.
Exactly. And then again, your classics. Tilt-A-Whirl's always going to do well. You'll see repeat some of the most basic things people do over and over and over again. Like kids love the swings, like that big swing. They go to the swing over and over and over again. And we've got a nice spread where we have kiddie rides, we have family rides, and big thrill rides. So you get to see people jockey back and forth. But the one that gets me, and it's fun, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I'm old, so I'm a little creaky. The giant slide.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's as simple as it's a slide.
Yeah.
And the
Walk up the
lines to
stairs.
walk up the stairs, they come with that. But kids will do that all day long.
Yeah, that's great.
And we've had parents who are just like, we went on 2 rides. We went on the merry-go-round and we went on the slide. They're like, all this stuff here, and the kids just went on the slide. So, classics are classics. So,
yeah, I love it. No, yeah, they're tried and true. I think that's really interesting, right? Because like that means it's been around for 70 years,
Yeah.
right? It means the other stuff fell off, right? We tried this thing. Nobody really liked that, right? The slide is there because everybody likes the slide, and that's 75 years old. I like that. Or probably older. Very cool. Wonderful. Okay, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Hot debate. Every time I get on a roller coaster, right? The guy lets me buy, and I'm like, even some of the smaller ones at the New York State Fair or something, it's like, which car do I sit in, right? Because everybody's like, oh, there's a different experience, right? Do I sit in the front car? Do I sit in the back car? Do I sit in the second car? I had a friend who was like, always like, oh, sit in the second car. That's the best experience on the roller coaster. What do you think about that? What's the best seat on the ride?
You've heard it. I mean, I grew up in the Buffalo area, and I was fortunate. I was 10 minutes away from Darien Lake, so I was one of those kids who had a pass.
Okay.
So I would go 3-4 times a week because it was
Sure.
it was a $3 bus ride to Darien Lake, and the Viper, which is it was the new ride when I was a kid, but it's not. We sat in the front, we sat in the middle, we sat in the back. We tested it to death, and I think you convince yourself. People are always like, oh, if you're in the back, you're getting the momentum, so you get that extra whip, and the front. Here's all I'll say about the front, is that if you're in the front on a roller coaster, you're going to hang and stare straight down. So that's the different experience from that perspective. But I don't know if I buy there's a whip or there's a this or, things like the Himalaya, though. I want to be on the inside because I don't want to get crushed.
Sure, yes.
I mean, I'll give you that. But other than that, I think it's personal. I mean, it's what people make of it.
Yeah.
If people sit in the back and think they get an extra G-force out of it because they got a whip.
Yeah, good for them.
Good for them. I hope they enjoy it.
Might be a placebo, but you know what?
It might have been a wine slushy they had 20 minutes ago, but I mean, I don't know. I just have at it. But there are people who will wait for specific seats.
Yeah.
On certain rides, which is
really,
yeah.
They'll be like, oh, I don't want to go.
No,
on
I'll
that
go
one.
the next time. Or
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
But again, that's kind of the cool part about it is because we all know the fair is all about people watching.
Oh yeah.
So we get to do a lot of people watching. We get to meet a lot of very interesting people.
Like who?
People come out of the woodwork. I mean, again, once you're in a community, that guy, you see groups of people that you wouldn't expect to see. You see people from, we'll use a Gatsby, West Egg and East Egg, and they're all, intermingling together and having a great time. And it's one of those things where it almost dissolves all of those barriers. I mean, maybe it's because carnivals are at their core just so basic. Their family, their community, where they started from. It has that kind of interesting mystique. Well, that interesting mystique, which becomes also some really good horror movies, but that's a different conversation altogether.
For sure. No, cool. I think that's great. It's a great unifier. Everybody can come together, eat some popcorn, candy apple, throw the candy apple back up.
And we haven't even talked about games and
Yeah.
and the food. I mean, we run with 20 games.
Cool.
And all the classics. Win a fish, take a fish home, and.
Cool. What's the easiest game for me to win consistently?
Well, we do have, a couple things like the shark attack where you just fish for sharks and you win every time. So that would probably be the go-to game.
Okay.
I'm surprised how many people actually get the ping pong balls in the fish.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you see people walking around with fish. And part of that also is to get people to, you want people to win.
Right.
Because if people are walking around with prizes, everybody goes, well, you can win.
Right. Yeah.
If nobody's got a prize, nobody's going to play the game. And it's a little different. I mean, it's not that hardcore, carny speak that, I'm going to get pushed in and I'm going to get shenangled. Is that even a word? Shenangled?
I don't know. Now it is.
It's a mixture of a bunch of them. Finagle and shenanigans. Shenangled. You don't have that. You don't have those. They're called barkers.
Yeah.
The way they were, and I think that not the pressure-y ones, but I think that that's part of the ambiance. I think that's part of the story. Come on over. I'm going to grab your,
Step right up.
Step right up. I'm going to grab, guess
Yeah.
your weight, your height.
That's my next question. Is can you do that?
We do have one of our game when we do.
Yeah. Are you trained in that?
Am I trained? You know what the training is?
Yeah.
It's good guessing. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Sure.
And the way prizes are set up. I mean, you want people to win.
Yeah.
So you're guess your month within 2 months. That's
Yeah, that's just odds.
it's like a 50-50 chance. I mean, that's
Right.
you get 5 of those months out of 12. So, well, it's a little more in your favor. The weight, guys will lose. I mean, we do know this too, is that guys will lose on the weight thing because they just, especially with women, because they certainly don't want to make people feel bad.
Sure. Yeah.
And we have a tendency to let kids do well. But that's part of the experience. I mean, I remember as a kid, my grandmother, we would go to all of these large carnivals, and I just have fond memories of that. And I think in this day and age, we have so much abundance, and we can get things. A $3 stuffed animal still thrills a child, and their eyes light up, and they're so excited. And my basic role on the side is I work and answer questions at the ticket box, or if people have questions. And as the night goes on, the less tickets are being sold in Woodhaven. So I wander and I do a lot of talking to people. And what is amazing to me is watching 5-year-olds will tell you their whole story, their whole day.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's why I got into pro sports in the beginning and spent half my career doing that. And that's why I do what I do now is to hear the stories from those kids.
Yeah.
It's just, they're like, and this, and this, and this. And we talk about kids and young people not being able to express themselves. They can till around 7. And then I don't know what changes, but it gives me encouragement that it's there, it's innate, and you see it in these younger kids. And I just hope that we balance our screen time with our experiential time. And those kids will still be able to tell stories when they're teenagers and when they're young adults, and because that's those skills to be able to tell stories. I mean, I know I keep going back to the story thing but if you go back, I don't know, 500,000 years, we've got drawings on cave walls. Why is that? Because we like to tell stories. That's part of human nature, is that's how we share our existence. And I think carnivals have remained in the public eye because it lets communities share and tell their stories. It becomes a shared experience.
What a beautiful sentiment. Thank you so much, Alan.
No
Thank you
worries.
for coming on, and you're an incredibly interesting person, and I think that your job is super cool. So thank you so much for
No problem. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Cool. Okay, so how can people learn more about this event this weekend? Go give a call to action. What do you want people to do?
Well, you can pop onto, if you follow on social media, go to Main Event Amusements. You'll see all of our stuff as it comes up. We'll put all the informations there. Like I said, admission's free, parking's free. Real easy. Go in gate 6. That's my fear, is people are going to go to the carnival and they're going to be like, oh, you got to pay X amount of dollars. And they're going to be like, I thought it was free. And it's because, well, you'll be going to the other event.
Gotcha.
And I'll even plug them. They're good guys.
Yeah.
I know all of those guys. The food truck battle that's going on at the fairgrounds. Go out, bring your family out, check out the food truck battle. It's not that expensive. And then when you're done, come on over, get the treats, get the cotton candy, get the candy apples, get the snow cones from us, ride some rides, and just make it an entire family day. It's going to be a really great weekend at the fairgrounds. 2 great events.
Yeah.
I wish us both well, and hopefully we have a great weekend. But everything's on Main Event Amusements. We're on Instagram. Very simple. Main Event Amusements. See all of our ride setup, videos of us going from 0 to complete things, and then, just follow us along, because, we swing back this way a little bit. I mean, Seneca County's not that far away, for folks in Rochester, because I know that, this goes out there. I mean, in Buffalo, I mean, we're at the Erie County Fair.
Cool.
We're at there. So
I've been to that a few times growing up.
That's
very
an
fun.
amazing fairground. So it's good. Support your local farmers, your local 4-H, because that's where it all started. And these are people who fairs aren't in the business of making money. They're in the business of being part of the community and giving kids an opportunity to, like I said, with 4-H, with raising animals, and it teaches them so much about business. You know, do I want to be a farmer, or do I want to stay in that business? And you know, what you see is Cornell is very, very involved. Cornell Cooperative does a lot of this, because Cornell is probably the global leader on the agricultural side. So they're always a little bit ahead, and they give back to the entire state. So.
Wonderful.
I know I rambled in that little end thing, but
Hey,
it's just,
no,
it's just
wonderful.
I love the carnival stuff. I love what we do.
Yeah.
But it's a bigger picture. It's a bigger community.
Cool. Well, Alan, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Guys, this show is filmed out of our new studio here in the former Spaghetti Warehouse location. This is put on by Clickstream Studios. If you are interested in digital marketing, please let us know. If you visit call.clickstreamstudios.com, you can sit down with me for about 30 to 45 minutes. I will learn everything about your business, and I'll take that information. I'll go do a bunch of research on my own, and I'll create you a free marketing plan, and I can send that to you, and basically you can use that. You can have that for free. You can use that on your own, or if you so choose, you can use that with us, and we can get you started with us. We do all sorts of content marketing and digital marketing, from making your own podcast to shooting your own videos to helping you with paid ads and a lot more stuff. If you are interested in any of that, call.clickstreamstudios.com. Thank you so much for watching. Also, thank you so much to our sponsor, Ads on the Go. Get adsonthego.com. Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys.